Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Q&A show. My name is Bob Theriot, and I'm so excited that you guys are joining me here tonight. I'm excited because I get to bring on a friend of mine who is just one of the most authentic people that you'll ever meet, if you ever get the chance to meet him. And not only that, he's chock full of knowledge. You've seen us been promoting him out like for the last 2 weeks. We had a little technical glitch last week, but he was kind enough to reschedule with us to come on Tuesday. This is a busy man, but I'm going to introduce him in a little while. But before I get started, I just want to ask you guys, if you're watching the show right now, do me a favor, hashtag live. Hashtag live, so we know that you're here, and go ahead and comment if you have a question for us. If something pops up, don't be afraid to put it in comments. If we see it, we'll answer the question. Also, I'm curious, what city are you watching us from tonight? Go ahead and put that below in comments. And if you happen to catch this show somewhere down the road and you're watching it in a replay, do me a favor and hashtag replay, because that also helps us out, and it helps us get the word out, and we're able to reach more people. I'd also like you to hit that smash button, hit that heart button, share the show out. The more people that see it, the more value that we can bring you tonight. And that's what we're always about here, is trying to share our knowledge with people and help people out in their businesses and their personal life. And you're definitely going to want to see my next guest here in a few minutes. Today's show is brought to you by Innovair Air Conditioning. You guys, I keep saying this, but it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. It's not going to get cool for a while. So if you're thinking about converting to refrigerated air, give Innovair Air Conditioning a call, 915-352-3916. You can also go, they've extended their promo. If you convert to refrigerated air, they'll go ahead and give you a free stainless steel barbecue grill. And go to keepcool915.com, and you can get an instant $250 coupon from them. So you guys need to call them. You need to do that. Before I bring on my next guest, let me tell you a little bit about him. He's a Super Bowl champion with the Indianapolis Colts. He played for 9 years in the NFL, which is like, he broke every average of, I think that the average NFL player is probably three to 4 years. He may correct me on that, but he was in the linebacker position for the Indianapolis Colts. He was the captain of the team, and let me tell you, he's turned his championship mindset towards entrepreneurship and franchising. He's also the book of the book Winning, from walk-on to captain in football and in life. So you guys, let me introduce you to my friend, Mr. Gary Brackett. Hey, Gary, what's up, bud?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. Now that you're here, after that glitch last week, I was a little nervous, but we got you on, and thanks for coming on. I know you're super busy, so I really appreciate your time and coming on the show. It's just a real pleasure for me and my audience to have you here tonight.
Yeah, no pleasure, man. Looking forward to it.
How are things going? What's going on? What have you been up to lately?
Oh, man, I've been busy. Summertime, Indiana, man. I feel like we got like a few months of warm weather. So we've just been enjoying the pool, have a boat, so been hanging out there. But then also business-wise, we opened up our 10th restaurant in Dayton, Ohio. So I've been busy going back and forth there, figuring it out. And also, we're going to get into this a little bit later, but I got some cool little surprises that I've been working on as well that I'm extremely excited about.
All right. Well, I can't wait for you to share that with my audience. So for those of you who don't know you, Gary Brackett, right? 2007, Gary, Super Bowl, right? 2007? Yep. You remember that day? I mean, that's like one of those days in your life that I guess you'll never forget, right?
Nah, exactly. I remember what I had for breakfast that morning. It was just one of those memorable days, really, because of how close we were during my career with the Indianapolis Colts to making it to a Super Bowl and finally getting there in 2007, beating the Patriots, who was our arch nemesis. They're still everyone's arch nemesis, but we beat them in the AFC Championship game, then went ahead to the Super Bowl and got a win against the Chicago Bears. So really something that was special to me. Got a Super Bowl ring, was a captain in that team. So really exciting point in my career, getting a chance to go to the Super Bowl and actually win it.
And that's something that very few people could even realize, when you look at the percentages of playing in the NFL and then getting to that point and winning. I mean, the odds are just so stacked against you. And I guess it does take a lot of mental fortitude, right? A lot of barriers that you had to get over. Tell people a little bit about your background as far as how you grew up and how you went into college, because you were a walk-on in the NFL, correct?
Yeah, correct. I was a walk-on. So Walk on an NFL, well, free agent in the NFL is what they call it. They have to call you, sign you to a free agent contract. And then at Rutgers University, I was a walk on. So I was playing at a small high school. About 500 people was there. And my high school coach sent out my senior year playoff film to get me recruited. So everything I know now, that's extremely too late. A lot of kids are getting recruited now as freshmen. But nonetheless, I had an opportunity to walk on at Rutgers University. I did that. My parents refinanced the house twice in order to pay for my education. My third year while I was at school, they called me and they could no longer afford to pay. I told the coach, and luckily I was able to get a scholarship. And this next moment changed my life. I got a scholarship. I went down to the weight room. I shared all the good news with all my friends. And one of the seniors, the leaders came to me and he said, "What's all the commotion? Why aren't you guys working out?" And I said, "Hey, man, I got a scholarship. I get to stay in school." And he told me, "A scholarship, you should worry about starting." And it was amazing because to that point, I never considered myself as a starter. I just, want to get a scholarship and, go on with life. But it just shows us our limited beliefs. And sometimes we're our own worst enemy with what we believe we can do. So when I transformed my mind that I could be a starter and started eating like a starter, started working out like a starter, started practicing like a starter, lo and behold, I became a starter, MVP of the team for 2 years, and had the opportunity to make it to the NFL.
Wow, that's amazing. And so, when we were talking about this a little bit earlier, right? It's really about executing, right? I mean, you have to make a decision that you're going to do something. And a lot of people talk, they have ideas, they decide, and then they take no action, right? When you say that?
Yeah, no, that's 80%, if not higher, of the population. The really thing that I've learned what separates high performers from everyone else is that they take massive action. And a little bit of action gets you a little bit of results. Medium action gives you medium results, but massive actions give you massive results. And these are people that aren't afraid of failure. These are people that aren't afraid to set lofty goals and really set goals that are outside their comfort zone and really live outside their comfort zone and constantly challenge themselves and their limits. And these are people who are, just aspire to be great. And typically they reach that greatness because they're willing to put in the work.
And don't you think that a lot of it has to do with not really caring about what people think about you and what you're doing, right? Don't you think people get too caught up in, I don't want to do this because I don't want to seem like I'm failing. I don't want to be perceived a certain way, right? Because you're going to fail. I mean, all the greats have failed at some level to get to where they are.
I think the amazing thing, and what I had to realize, is that I had to unlearn, because as a child, everything that our parents taught us and protected us was from failure, right? Don't do this, you're going to get hurt. Don't do that, that's not going to work. And really, a lot of times, those failures were perceived on their experiences and not yours. So now I had to unlearn that failure is not the opposite of success, it's actually a part of success. So when I'm an entrepreneur or when I'm parenting and teaching my kids, I sit back and let them do things their way sometimes. And then when it doesn't work, I say, "Hey, what did you learn from that?" And I think there's so much value in learning, and especially failing at a young age. So then they know, like, it's okay if you try it. Like with my daughter, my oldest, we tried softball, we played soccer, we're trying volleyball now, and I love it. She's like, "Hey, Daddy, can I try?" I'm like, "Hey, the goal is we can start anything. We're never gonna quit. And if you don't like it, then we won't do it next time." But she's get so much different experiences because she's not afraid to go out there and start from the beginning. And I think, in the long run, that's going to pay off for her.
So I think a lot of it comes from insecurities. They don't want to look like they're failing, but you know what? You're going to fail. You're going to fail more times than you're going to win. But when those wins come, they're big wins, right? I mean, you're a living example of that, right? I mean, you didn't get a scholarship to go to college. You didn't get drafted, and still you hit the pinnacle of your career.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's really because I didn't give up. I wasn't afraid to fail. And I really didn't care what other people thought. To your point earlier, so many people are caught up with, what someone's going to say about them. And we live now in a social media age where when you do something, You just don't do it in front of the people. You're doing it in front of, almost the world, especially if you're posting.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that, man, people have a short-term memory. So even if you did something and failed, you can overcome and get right back on the horse and try something else, and you could be massively successful. So it's really about constantly challenging yourself, telling yourself that every opportunity is a fresh one, and if you took a thing and you learned, it really wasn't a loss, it was a lesson.
So how did you let's go back to football real quick. How did you become captain? Right? Because you weren't always a captain, right? You had to earn your way to that spot, because don't your teammates have to vote you captain?
Yeah, teammates have to vote you captain. So
Right.
my mentality was always, I'm going to lead from whatever position that I'm at. And so many people wait till they get a title to become a leader. And most leaders will tell you the only reason they got the title because they're already acting, what the position required. So for me, as the middle linebacker, I was already the quarterback of the defense. So for me, I already had an obligation to make sure that we were lined up, doing the right thing, making sure I was checking everyone, make sure that I was educated on the game plan. So doing that consistently, guys really valued that, and they knew that I was going to come prepared, and I was going to show up every day and put in work. So it's funny, my third year in the NFL, this is a guy who came in as a free agent, not drafted. I beat out a first-round draft pick, and then my third season, I was named starter and captain of the defense. And it really was just remarkable, just testament to the work ethic, testament to my knowledge of the defense, and really like my practice habits. Every day, I told myself I wanted to have a good practice. But as a leader, right, my goal wasn't to create more followers, it was to create more leaders. So not only did I want to have a good practice, but I wanted to bring people along with me.
So was this a how can I say it? Was this something that you thought about, or did you naturally fall into it? Like, so my question is do you think you're born to be a leader, or do you think you can learn to be a leader? Because what internally was telling you, I need to do this? Like, I want to lead the team. Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, I think for me, and it's the whole thing, are leaders born or are they made? And my opinion is that they're made. If you look at history and you look at the odds that some of our greatest leaders were up against, and somehow they persevered. And I really think it's something internal, that an inner drive that we all have inside of ourselves and what we do with it. So for me, it was just our belief. Like, I didn't want to have a bad practice. So if I was going to go out there and prepare, my expectation was that you prepare too. And for me, I was always willing to give people my trade secrets, if you will, because again, like, I was trying to create more leaders. And I'm like, if we all did the right thing and didn't get caught up with like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that, that mentality. And we all started doing the right thing, and it just became fun. And our accountability level was so high because everyone was doing the right thing. Like, it was hard to fall out of line because somebody was quick to pull you back in.
Teach yourself to be a leader. And I think a lot of that has to do with your coaches, right? Who you surround yourself with, because Tony Dungy was your coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like one of the best coaches that were around. So do you see that as playing a role in you becoming a leader, is watching somebody like him or getting coaching advice from him?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things he taught us was like, never let your emotions get too high when you're winning, and never let your emotions get too low when you're losing. So when you're winning, you're never that good, and then when you're losing, you're never that bad. And really keeping things in perspective really helped me, because I can make one big play, and if all I thought about for the next few series was this one play I made, like, it wasn't going to serve me well. And vice versa, if it was a bad play, if all I thought was this bad play, it still wasn't going to serve me well. So his thing about having a short-term memory and being able to get over play, recover, and still go out there and finish your job, I think was something that really stood out to me, that really made me become a leader, because I was always level-headed. And I was never out of control, or out of there, not knowing where I'm going to go in terms of my position. And it's something that, good play, bad play, I was always ready for the next play.
So you were even keeled. You just knew, right? Your time was going to come. If you could be down but that you can make an interception or you can make a sack the next play and change the whole trajectory of the game.
It's amazing. One of my favorite memes on Instagram is like this one meme where there's two people digging for gold, and one person is like this close to getting to the gold, and they get discouraged, and then they walk away. And then a person up top is still digging for gold, and they're anxious, and they still got far away to go, but they still got the pick hammer, and they're digging. And in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, they talked about being 10 feet from gold, and so many people are 10 feet from gold, but then they turn around and they give up.
Yeah,
but
they don't even realize how close they were to hitting it, right?
It's amazing, right? And then it's like, if you want to stop starting over, like stop giving up. And I think so many people give up when they're so close, and then they got to start all over again. So just and it's gonna be a situation you're gonna get tired, learn to rest, but never quit.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I mean, really good advice. So let's talk a little bit about. So you said that you had a little surprise to share with the audience, right? Yeah. So we were talking about mindset, championship mindset. So what do you got coming down the pike? I kind of know, but let's share with the audience.
Yeah. So it's funny. It's something that is I met Bob for his audience at a show in LA. And it was a show with a whole bunch of influencers.
The conference,
right?
Yeah.
We were learning how to share our all unique abilities and expertise to the world. And really like a serving platform, because, Bob, like myself, I want to serve, and I want to give back, and I want to help others. I said it earlier, like our goal is to create more champions and to create more leaders, not to create more followers. So I've really been hard at work because I've been asked to mentor so many people, and I have done that. But it really doesn't scale with 3 kids, being a coach, a CEO, restaurateur. So I'm creating my own course now called Champions Academy, where I'm going to teach people this winning mindset that I developed over my 9-year NFL career, and even transferring to the entrepreneurship, going to school, getting my MBA, and everything that I learned throughout my life. I'm packaging it together and putting it in a course, because I want to share that knowledge to everyone else. Because I think if I can help someone avoid a mistake, like it's going to be worth like a lot of money. Like I made a lot of mistakes, and then conversely, I did a lot of great things, and that's in the course as well. And I think if you can emulate not necessarily the steps that I took, because everyone else is different, but the mindset behind the steps is what's important. And what I want to do is really unlock those keys to success and really give you the framework on how you get there. But so many people have this idea of themselves, of who they are and who they could be, but they don't necessarily have the tools to get them there. So I really want to share the tools of how I've gotten there and how I can help them get there too, by really just undiscovering some things about themselves and really push them outside their comfort zone.
That's awesome. I can't wait for it to come out. I mean, like I got to know you, and I told you, like, there's no one more authentic than you. And I can't wait to see you teach it. I've heard you speak.
Yeah.
I know you do a lot of speaking engagements, right? So where do you do these speaking engagements? Who is your target audience? Is this corporate? Is this schools? Who hires you?
Yeah, I get a lot of corporate events. So I get a lot of keynotes, like end of year meetings, quarterly meetings, things like that. I have a speech here coming up, 2 speeches, one at a keynote at like a school setting, and then another one at be giving a motivational speech to a sales team in a hospital setting. So really just that corporate America, team building, overcoming adversity, goal setting, things that are motivational, inspirational. But why I'm unique, why I have all those qualities, I also bring transformation. So I also bring steps and actionable items that people could take after they hear the speech and walk away and actually put things into practice and kind of reach some level of, change.
Yeah. So they can leave and actually implement something that they heard you say and start making changes right away. And that's that transformation you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people, and you've seen them. You go and you see them speak, and they tell you, "I'm going to give you the 9 things to do." And it's like, okay, well, now what? I did the 9 things, right? It doesn't really change your business all that much. So that's cool that you have that whole transformation piece that you're going to build into the course, or even in your speeches, because that is the key, right? It's that one thing that we're talking about that people are missing, and if you can give them that one piece of information, boy, it'll make all the difference in the world in their business or their personal life.
It's amazing. I remember one time when I was young, long time ago. I had a what was it? It was a SUV. It was a Denali, Yukon Denali, and I had got rims. I brought it with rims, right? I'm 23 at the time, so lay off. I'm a little older now, wiser. I would never put rims in the vehicle, but I had a flat tire, and I tried every tool in the book. Went to the AutoZone, took it to the dealership. I could not get this tire off. And the reason I couldn't get the tire off because I didn't have the right tool. It had its own special key to unlock the actual rims. And it wasn't until I got the key that the rims came off.
Right.
So many people have these problems, right? And they don't have the proper tool to address the problem. So no matter what they try, it's not going to work until they get the right tool.
Right.
So that's why we really have to be open to learning new tools, put more tools in our toolbox. So then when we have different challenges or opportunities, we have more tools to choose from. And if it's not the hammer, it's not the screwdriver, this is it, the wrench. This is a wrench problem this time. Right? People walk around with hammers. And when you walk around with a hammer, every tool looks like a nail, right? And we probably know this in our lives, right? Everything is aggressive, and it's just like that doesn't work. You have to learn how to lead. Leadership is all about, situational leadership. And like people say, what's your leadership style? It depends. Right? It depends on the situation.
And the person you're talking to or dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. Because this whole notion of all right, well, that's not equal, right? No, it's not. Life's not equal. It's about being fair. Right.
Right.
I think my goal as a leader to be fair and not necessarily equal. And that's what I try to preach to my team. Use the common sense principle and do things the right way. But, treat situations more like a one-off where you can versus like everything's getting lumped together because the context is always different.
It's always going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good advice. So tell everybody a little bit about the Stack Pickle restaurants. So you have 10 of them now, right? You're a franchisor. Right. And for those of you here in Texas, you're going to open one. Well, you already have one in Texas, right? Or this is going to be your second one?
Under construction. Under construction in Texas, West Texas. So excited about that. That'll be open hopefully by the end of the year. Under construction now. So the Stack Pickle is a sports bar restaurant where we serve fresh food and where we have amazing, legendary customer service. And I think if you think about your neighborhood sports bar, it's a place where, obviously, servers know your name, they know your favorite drink. We have great food products. Even now, we're trending. We have a lot of alternative meat products. But it's really just a fun, engaging place where you could come get a very good meal for a good price and just have a great time. And I think that's really needed. And when you look at the trends on what's happening, sports betting made us a lot more attractive. And in addition to that, all these new professional leagues are signing these new contracts, and where the bulk of the money is coming from is the TV deals. And the reason TVs are paying this big money because they want to make these games bigger and bigger, and we're out watch this game than at a sports bar. So I think the timing is right in terms of people who are interested in franchise having their own sports bar because it's a fun atmosphere. And I know people who work at fast casual places, and it's like a deli, and you come up and, hey, what do you want? And they just put the food together, hit down working,
right?
Enjoyment in that. But having a sports bar, our GMs have a lot of fun, and we've definitely been, starting franchising and excited about getting that rolling out this year.
Well, congratulations on that because that's cool. I've seen some of the stuff. The Stack Pickle, it's a beautiful sports bar. Yeah, really cool. Really cool. I'm telling you, I'm going to go up to that one in Houston.
Nah, I'm telling you, you're going to get the invite, man. VIP night.
You got to keep me in the loop. Keep me in the loop. So how do you, let's talk about the, some of the things that, some motivational keynotes for people, right? Let's talk about business. So you're a business guy. You're really just immersed in entrepreneurship right now. So what are some key things that you could give? There's a lot of business people here, marketing people that own local businesses, attorneys that watch the show. So people that are in business, what do you think, what can they do tomorrow? If you can tell them one thing or two things, what can they do tomorrow that would actually help them change the landscape of their business? It's kind of a hard question because there's a lot, but
Yeah,
what
yeah.
pops to mind?
So one thing that I would do that they could do tomorrow is stop accepting excuses. So many times in business we accept excuses and then it just becomes acceptable in our culture. So typically what happens, you ask someone if they did something, their response is no. And then we ask the next question is why. They give us an excuse and then nothing happens or maybe you chill them out, but then payday comes and they get a paycheck. So my advice would be to move from excuses to ask 3 questions. And those 3 questions, the first question is, did you do something? No. What next steps can you take to get that done? Then they give you the next steps. All right. What date can you have that done by? Right. 2, get a time frame. And 3rd, can I count on you to get that done? When we stop accepting excuses, right, and start getting commitments, then we'll start seeing results. And I think
making people accountable, basically.
Right? If I know I could give you an excuse, and the worst thing is gonna tell me is I'm gonna get chewed out, like I like those odds, right? If you tell me if you give me an excuse and I say, all right, what are the next steps? Right. If you don't have the next steps, then maybe you're not the person for this job. All right, you gave me the next steps. Okay, great. What time frame can we get it done by? I'll get it done by the end of the shift. Okay, can I count on you to do that? Now you gave me your word. You committed that you're gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The whole thing in business, and it's the same thing in relationships, is that we gotta move from assumptions and expectations to agreements.
Right.
So we assume that we're friends, that things happen. But it's unspoken. We didn't really never agree to it.
Yeah. And you're right. It's in friendships, marriages, and business relationships.
Right.
You think somebody else is going to do something because you have expectations, but you never spoke about it. You never talked about it. So how does the other person supposed to know? Right.
And what do? What happens when it doesn't happen? We're upset.
Right.
So now we're upset about something that was never agreed upon.
Mm-hmm.
We're upset about an expectation that we had that was never even spoken.
Yeah.
So now changing from that communicative type of style where now you have agreements and people know exactly what it is that you agreed upon, there's no longer that gray area. Everyone, it's always gray area. Yeah, there is gray area in certain situations, but we can alleviate that by being in agreement. And it's just amazing to me when we started first of the year giving out budgets and getting feedback from our managers like, hey, this is your budget. This is what we're thinking. Look at it, review it, adjust it to you think, and then meet with us on Monday, and we'll have your finalized budget. The GMs that took it serious was like, hey, no, I could do more than that. All right. What steps do we need to take? How can we help support you? What time frame can we start seeing this? And can you commit to this? Right? And it's amazing what it did for our stores. What GMs took that ownership, and they became part of the solution.
It seems simplistic, but it's really not. It's just implementing, right? Executing those 3 things.
Yeah, really is.
That's good. That's really good. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. So let's see. So let's go back to the success thing. So mindset. So someone like that in a managerial position that you've talked to, you've heard that saying, you can't light wet wood.
Yeah.
So if somebody's not motivated, self-motivated, can you instill that in someone because you gave them those 3 directions or those 3 questions? If they don't have the passion for it or they don't take pride in it, I mean, that's when you have to let them go, right? I mean, because there's just some people you can't help.
Yeah, so I look at things in 2 categories. I look at things is I can't do, right? They don't have the tools, they don't have the training to actually perform that task, right? That's our problem. We need to train them up, get them better to be able to handle that challenge. I won't do is something that's not tolerable, right? If you can physically and mentally are capable of doing something and you just won't do it, we can't tolerate that.
Right.
So I think, I typically put things in 2 categories and I try to get a lot of feedback and figure out, is it truly a can't do? Is it something that we could do a better job of training? And once we give you that training, our agreement is that you're going to do it on a consistent basis. And if you don't, then I tell people as a business owner, man, it's not personal. I tell people, like, I have a lot of patience. I just don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right. So although on paper,
Yeah.
this is a results business, and results has to speak. So making those tough decisions is something you have to be willing and able to do as a business owner.
Great. Those are great nuggets there. So I'm going to ask you something, go a little bit off topic, but real quick, if you could go back in time and change something about the decision you've made to get you to where you are right now, would you make any changes? Is there anything you would do differently to shorten your success path? Is there something you think you could have done differently?
I think there is, man. You know what I started doing these last few years? Really like going to conferences and like seeking coaching. Initially, I was with the mindset that like what I need to coach for, right? What I need to see somebody for, like I'm strong, like I'm not weak. Coaches are for people that are weak, and I found out something that's valuable. You seek help not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. And it's going to seminars, paying for coaching programs, being in different environments where people are like-minded has exponentially grew my dreams. Because now I see what's possible now. And not only possible, but like I see people actually doing it. And it's so exciting, like just by happen chance, I meet you, right? And inspirational what you've been through in your life and what you overcome, what you're doing with the TheQ&AShow, informing the world, like the people that you have on the show. Like people pay big money to hear these people talk, right? I just booked 3 speaking engagements for, $20,000. So people pay money, and because of our relationship and because of this thing called the internet, we can have this conversation and share it with the world. But some people still won't listen; they won't show up, right? And that's shame on them because it's a free. And then,
and Gary, I have a saying, and I always say this, but I always say you can give somebody the recipe to the cake, but they still have to bake the cake.
Yeah. And then that's the next part. So some people won't even listen, right? So shame on you. But second, then people will listen, and then they won't apply it. And it's like, for me personally, I'm not, a lot of stuff that I share is not stuff that I've actually read, something that I heard of. This is stuff that I'm doing. Like I employ 400 people. Like I was a Super Bowl champion, right? I was a walk-on. So these are things, but for me, again, it just really, a lot of times because we see it, we have more belief in people than they have in themselves. And sometimes you need that. You need someone to believe in you before your belief in yourself kicks in. And that's why, for me now, becoming a high performance coach, creating a Champions Academy is really going to give me an opportunity to speak life into people and the people that are close. We talked about that Think and Grow Rich, where someone wants to turn around, I can stop them in their tracks and turn them back around. Like, dude, you're so close. A couple more swings, we got it. And so many people don't have that. And I think, being in a position where I can be that to people is something that I take serious and something that I'm excited about.
Well, like Spider-Man's uncle said to him, with great responsibility comes great power.
That's it, brother.
It's true, though.
It's funny. My mom, God rest her soul, but she was an ordained reverend. And she told me at a young age, she said, the greatest among us will serve. Right. And for me, that always stuck out. And anytime I'm in a challenging situation where I'm somewhere, hey, can you get that? Or hey, can you do this? Or hey, can you do me a favor? And then initially you want to be like, what? Like, I'm the CEO. But then always the greatest among us will serve.
Yeah.
And that message just, daily just crosses my mind. And just being a servant, man, it just helps. And people, like, I help people, like, carry bags and stuff. They turn around like, oh, like, are you? It's just like, hey, man, I'm just a guy trying to help you out.
Yeah. Well, Gary V says it. I mean, he says, people get it twisted when it comes to ownership and being a manager. Like, as a CEO, you work for your employees.
Yeah.
They don't work for you, right? Like when you get in that position of management and you think, oh, I've got my office now, I'm a manager, and I want these people to do that for you. It doesn't work that way. You've got to earn their respect, right? And you got to try to help them. So you're actually working for them because you've got to come and work harder and try to solve these problems that they can't solve.
Yeah. We call our office here in Indianapolis our support center. In all
That's
of our
awesome.
meetings with our general managers, our question is like, hey, how can we support you all? Like, how can we make you all better?
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's awesome.
we're results driven. We're going to ask you for results. What results do you need to see from us? And it's just been having that type of accountability and that type of two-way feedback has really been beneficial for our company.
That is awesome. So I'm gonna do a little thing here for the audience here. I want everybody to go to Amazon right now after we get off this this live stream and check out Gary's book, Winning from Walk On to Captain in Football and Life. This is a good read. Gary, talk about a little bit how this came about. Tony Dungy wrote the forward for this.
Yeah, he did. The book came about with just my experience in the NFL. We talked a little bit about me being a walk-on in college and then being a free agent in NFL. What we didn't speak about was some of the adversity that I had to overcome. And my first year in the NFL, unfortunately, I lost my father to heart complications. He was a Vietnam vet, so he suffered for some things, PTSD, with some other things. So I lost him, and then a few months later, my mom went in for routine surgery, and then I lost her in the recovery room. At the same time, my brother was diagnosed with cancer and ultimately became his bone marrow donor. And then a year later, after I lost my mom, I lost him. So in a 3-month span, I lost my father, my mother, and my brother. And the book just really shows a kid dealing with adversity and how I was able to transform myself from being a victim to being a victor.
Right.
And many times when we deal with adversity in our lives, and I know you're a cancer survivor,
Yes.
right? And
Yes, I am.
yeah, and so many people you deal with adversity, and you when you lose loved ones, people it affects people in different ways. And what I've learned and how I live my life, and what I said that I would do, I said I'm going to honor the dead by how I live.
Right.
You know, I don't take life for granted, and sometimes like my schedule is jam packed because tomorrow's not promised, and I've seen it firsthand. So I just try to maximize life, maximize why I'm here, and some of the proudest moments of my life is my kids. They're in the school and they have sports day every once in a while, and they put on my jersey 58.
That's cool.
And I've seen them walk to the school bus with Brackett on their last name, and I think it was like Damon. What was it, Damon John? And he was saying that like I do this for my last name and not my first.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the book is all about legacy. And it's amazing if you like the book, then we're actually in the process of trying to convert it to a movie. So if you go on bracket.movie.com, you can actually see a trailer that we shot and some more information about us trying to make that into a film. So, and that's so humbling, right? This little kid, small school that didn't get a scholarship in college and didn't get drafted in the NFL, has a movie in the works. And again, it's all an experience and all stuff that I want to share and kind of help, inspire people and ultimately transform them. And if I could do it, you surely can. And,
oh yeah, and you live this. This is not something that you read about, like you said in the book. This is stuff that you had to go through, learn how to think things through, right? And fortunately, you had some people around you that helped you, I'm sure, because we all need help sometimes, like you said. And coaching and mentoring is something that people just dismiss completely. And like you said, some of the greatest athletes in the world, Tom Brady still has a coach that, a throwing coach. Tiger Woods still has a swinging coach. They all have coaches, and they're at the top of their game or were.
Yeah, no question. And this is just sports figures. But if you look at CEOs, Fortune 500 companies, they all have coaches as well.
And there are and masterminds too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just amazing. Yeah. The best investment that you could make is in yourself.
Yeah.
And it just pays, dividends tenfold. And so
Mhm.
many people think the next best thing is this thing that they heard about or they read about, or is this, quick rich scheme. But really invest in yourself. Your knowledge is stuff that can never be taken from you. And then taking a step further, applying that knowledge to something that's gonna, change your life.
So when do you think your course is going to be out? When do you think it's going to be ready?
Man, I like that. See, look, give me a commitment. I love it.
Well, because I get excited, right? I'm talking to you and it's like, hey, I need to get into this course. Like, come on, let's get it out there.
Yeah. So we're actually shooting it in July. So we're shooting this month. So it'll be ready to launch in August.
Awesome.
So it'll be ready to launch in August. We'll be ready to go. We'll be going live. So definitely, if you haven't already, go to the website, GaryBrackett.com. Sign up to be on the newsletter. So then we can share information about you when we launch. Obviously, there's going to be some specials around launching. Again, and this is going to be for the faint of heart, right? This is going to be for high achievers, people who want to kind of take their game to the next level. It's going to be an investment in yourself because yearly, I spend well over $20,000 a year on education.
Yeah.
Right. Seminars, self-help, books. Right.
Right.
And I'm sharing all this information. So I just want people to kind of be, prepared and some information, if applied, it's going to be life-changing.
Well, I'm excited for everybody. I'm so happy for you, my friend. You've done so much and you're still, killing it. Like this course, I'm so excited for this for people because people in business and personal development they can get a hold of this course and make some drastic changes in their life. And, we were talking and me and Gary were talking before the show, but we may be doing something here with the Q&A show with Gary coming on a little bit more, not necessarily the show, but the platform. Because you have a show right now and it's called Franchise Fridays.
Franchise Friday on LinkedIn, IG, all Gary Brackett. I give like a Friday 3 to 5 minute little short wisdom.
And they're good.
They're solid. They're like, we think about this, the whole stop making excuses was one of the episodes. So the real practical stuff that you can kind of do and implement to try to, like I said, get that transformation.
Awesome. Well, any final words, Gary, anything before we let you go? I really appreciate you coming on. We're going to keep everybody in the loop with the course coming out. You've got the book. They can go to Amazon and they can follow you on Instagram, right?
Yep.
LinkedIn.
Yep.
What's your favorite? Where do you want people to go? Where should we direct them?
I'm omnipresent, baby. I'm everywhere. Instagram, I'm pretty present, and also LinkedIn. Drop me a line if you heard this. I definitely, want to engage with you. And definitely GaryBrackett.com. They can go sign up for the newsletter so they could be first to hear about when the course drops. And it's I'm working on white papers and different type of information and templates. I'm just trying to give some people some tools, man, because I see a lot of people that are close, and I hate to see when people give up. So I want to be that guy that whispers in your ear, keep going, you got this. And I think that will make all the difference in the world in some people.
Well, thank you, my friend, for coming on. This is going to be on replay, you guys. So if you're here at this point and you watch Gary, please hashtag replay so we know you watched it. Reach out to him, and you're going to be hearing a lot more. And this is not going to be the last time that Gary Brackett is going to be on the Q&A show. I can promise you that. Gary, hang tight real quick, okay? Don't leave me. I'm going to sign off real quick, but hang tight, okay? Thank you for coming on, my friend. Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to the Q&A show. We've got another show on Friday. Josh Forte will be on 7 o'clock on Friday. So you know who Josh is, check him out. Young entrepreneur. The guy is blowing up on social media. And he's actually going to come on and talk about mindset too. So really interesting stuff. Again, I want to thank our sponsors, Innovair Air Conditioning. Give them a call, 915-352-3916. Thank Mr. Gary Brackett for coming on. And thank you guys for joining me here on the Q&A show. Until the next time, stay safe. Have a good one.